Essays on Untouchables and Untouchability Social by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Chapter 2, Part 32. The discussion carried on so far reveals three characteristic features of the Hindu social organization. That is 1. Caste, 2. A hierarchical system of castes, and 3. A class system cutting into the caste system. Undoubtedly, the structure is a very complicated one, and it is perhaps difficult for one who has not been woven into it to form a true mental picture of the same. Perhaps a diagrammatical presentation may be helpful. I give below one such representation, which is in my judgment calculated to give the idea of the social structure of the Hindus. The diagram is left blank and is not clear. However, in easier terms, this has been narrated to by the narrator. There are 4 castes defined as the Varnas, the Chaturvarna system, which are hierarchical. The 4 are the Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya are considered Dvija or twice born. Shudra is considered the menial laborer who is not allowed a right to education or a right to self-protection. Within the Shudra, there are, depending upon time, there are either 1, 2, or 3 different divisions. The Shudra, the Sat Shudra, which is the higher class of Shudra, or the Ati Shudra, which is the lower class of Shudra. The Ati Shudra at times, colloquially or in the social context, has also been defined as the Pancham caste or the 5th caste within the caste system, although the Pancham caste does not have any evidence in the Chaturvarna system itself. It is only a social construction, as opposed to the Sat Shudra. Beyond the 4 castes, there is the Avarna, who is beyond the Savarna being the 4 castes. The Avarna is comprised of the criminal castes, the primitive castes, and the untouchable castes. The primitive castes are the primitive tribes, the Adivasis. The criminal castes are special castes which have been described as criminals by the British in their censuses of India and who follow criminal practices such as looting. They may sometimes be untouchable themselves, as is the case with the Mang Garudi. The untouchable castes are those who are at the other end of the untouchable system, untouchability as a whole. Untouchability in itself and the untouchable castes in themselves also have varying degrees in which approachability and unsayability is also present. Today, the untouchable castes are called Dalit. The lower castes, including the Shudras, the Ati Shudras, the primitive castes, the criminal castes, and the untouchable castes are called Bahujan, or majority, and the primitive castes in themselves are called the Adivasi. Depending upon region, the Adivasis may choose to describe themselves as names other than the Hindi or Indo-Aryan centric Adivasi term, and may instead refer to themselves by their own name. Furthermore, to complicate this more, the castes in themselves are 4, however, each contains its own subcaste. The 4 are only religiously prescribed. However, socially there are, as has been described before, 4,000 and more castes. Furthermore, each caste in itself contains a gotra or the class, wherein intermarriage between castes is not permitted. Intermarriage within gotras is also not permitted. Therefore, Ambedkar has described this system as an enclosed class. The end.